So I just wanted to welcome everyone for joining me this morning, and thank you for taking time out of your probably not so busy day right now. And thank you to Ariella for, of course, hosting this event and allowing for us to connect using this platform. But I think this is a really amazing opportunity for us to just kind of check in with each other, see how we're doing, and to stay connected during this time where we may be feeling a little isolated or alone. And let's just share some feelings about that. Now, before we start our conversation, I really would like to start off with just a short meditation, just to start to pull our thoughts inward, looking inside of ourselves, maybe trying to let go of some of that chaos around us, some of that noise that we just can't control, and start bringing some quiet, some stillness within ourselves. So if you can just find a comfortable seat, whether you're on the floor or in a chair, just allow yourself to start to feel that connection that you have with the earth, whether it's the soles of your feet or your sit bones. Taking a moment to just notice and feel that connection that you have. And whenever you're ready, you can flutter the eyelids closed. Just being mindful not to force or clench those eyelids. Just a nice, gentle flutter. And then let's start to bring awareness to our breath. Allow that natural rhythm of breath to flow. Don't force or control the breath. Noticing your rib cage as it rises and falls. Letting the belly stay nice and soft. And let's just check in with ourselves right now. Noticing anywhere in the body that you might be pinching or clenching, anywhere that feels tight or restricted. Allowing those areas in the body to release with each exhalation. And if they are choosing not to release, don't judge yourself. Just let whatever arises, arise, whatever happens, happen. Continuing to focus on the breath. Maybe allowing the body to release a little deeper, a little heavier. Remember that whether you're in the studio or at home with us, that you're safe and supported and loved. That we are all connected despite the distance between us right now, despite not being able to connect face to face on a daily or weekly basis. And knowing that we're blessed to have this technology to connect virtually with each other during this time. Let's bring the hands up to the heart and gently just focus on that heart center. Really feeling that breath, feeling the heartbeat. Maybe imagining a glowing yellow or pink or green, and feeling that glow, that heat from the heart. Letting the heart and that glow grow brighter with each breath. Maybe even feeling that sense of love, compassion, empathy. That sense of support or connectedness. And feel yourself sending out that love with each exhalation. Maybe it starts out small at first, and then envision that love being sent down the block, into your city, into your state, into this entire country. Envision your love being sent out to everyone in this entire world. Can you even imagine? Continuing to breathe into that heart space, letting that glow grow brighter and brighter, touching everyone on this earth. Releasing the hands from the heart, maybe coming into that Anjali Mudra or placing the hands in the lap. Whatever feels right for you this morning. Remembering that our breath is such a powerful tool, and not just in times like we're in now, but every single day. By starting to notice and focus on that breath, we can calm that central nervous system. We can bring peace and stillness within ourselves and to those around us as well. Peace and stillness is contagious. If we remain calm, the others around us will remain calm as well. Continuing to feel that love and empathy and compassion glowing brightly, not only through that heart space, but now glowing through the entire body. Maybe radiating out from the top of the head, from the fingertips and down through the bottom of the feet. Feeling that connection to Mother Earth, feeling that connection to everyone on this earth. Feeling that connection to the universe. And then bringing awareness back to your breath. Bringing awareness back into yourself, back into your body. Feeling that connection with the earth once more. And whenever you're ready, opening the eyes, adding any movement that you might need right now. How's everyone feeling?
Great.
Very grateful.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. My heart feels so full right now. I'm so happy to be connecting to all of you and actually seeing all your faces. I know I've been missing everyone so much, and I know Ken and I were talking yesterday about how we're not going to take those trips to the studio for granted anymore, because it's such a happy place for both of us, and just to see people and connect with people that, you know, we truly love and admire and really enjoy being with. So beautiful to be here with all of you virtually. So I really did want to just check in with everybody, and kind of talk about what is going on, not from like a media standpoint or from a place of fear, but let's like put a little twist on what we're hearing in the media, or what, you know, this fear that's being perpetuated among the communities. And let's kind of talk about if we've found any value in our current situation. And I know, Dawn, you, before we started this chat, you already knew what we're going to talk about without even really knowing. So talk about being connected, because you right away you said, you know, this has been great for our family. So I really just wanted to share and see what you had to say, and about if this situation has brought any value into your life.
I can go first.
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
Yeah, for me, I've noticed the last week or so, I've found it to be a time where I've been extra creative. My creativeness has really taken off compared to before. I think the wellness community is very much needed right now, and I love how quickly the community from all the studios and, you know, all over the world is really kind of come together and found this virtual platform to connect quickly, and how much community really means. And I have really enjoyed that aspect of it. And, you know, it's made me want to see how I can contribute even more from my own side of things as well, as far as the creative wellness part and everything. So
I know, and when I see you, I think of like divine timing, when everything's happening, like with your job and with your healing and with the Reiki and yoga.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just very much like a very interesting flow for me with that. And, you know, I'm trying to do what I can to help, you know, stay positive for folks, and including, you know, myself. And, you know, you're going to have the down times, and to embrace those as well. And you know, continuing to talk with people who, like yourself, are trying to share and connect has been so helpful. You know, I've been fortunate enough to be with my husband, but I know there's a lot of people who are, you know, on their own right now. And, you know, I've lived on my own. I know how that can, you know, I'm more introverted, and even then it still is a lot to be just by yourself like that. So these platforms really, really do help. So.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing too.
I notice I'm still working from home, which is a very different avenue for what I do. But we also, like, we're doing telemedicine calls with our patients every day. We're switching teams, so we have like 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And it's very, very different. But I do notice, like, one, I'm really good at working from home, which I never thought I would be, because I am distracted when I try to do anything at home. And I'm like doing really great at this, surprisingly. But I also have, like, I don't sit in an hour traffic every morning and evening coming home. So I get to hang out with my dog a lot more. I'm doing a lot of yard work, which makes me happy because our yard is a hot mess. And I'm very productive right now. So it's a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
Nice.
I love that. Speaking of the commute and all that, I think some of the good coming out of it is I think that many businesses will find that they can operate differently, that maybe more people can work from home or take turns, like you're saying, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, but maybe not really off. Maybe you'd be, you know, working via telehealth from home. But when you hear these stories about seeing the blue sky in Paris, you know, that from the lack of pollution, what a rest and healing time for the earth. Yeah, it's so positive in that regard. And also the people want to be outside. It's hard to social distance in our neighborhood right now because there's so many people out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
And I was, I think it was last week, just, I don't know, giving some more thought to why now, like why this year, why 2020, you know? And then I was like, well, 2020 is also indicative of like eyesight, like perfect eyesight. So maybe it's the year of clarity, the year of seeing. It's definitely, I mean, for me, I've probably been working harder for the past 3 weeks than I have for some time now. So it's just now that I'm starting to get some time to settle. And I mean, I've definitely been enjoying the time with my husband and my dog, but now getting a little more time to just reflect and some introspection and kind of taking a look back out to, you know, what the future holds, and not getting crazy with planning, but still I think there's a lot of clarity that might come from this, just like what we've talked about today, but even, you know, other introspection again that people might have from this. So.
You want me to share something?
Yes. only if you want to.
Of course I do. Actually, this call is interesting because, you know, I've obviously been on the book club and I've been on some other things, but I'm sensing something on this call that I haven't sensed in any other call, and it's actually a calmness. And I think that what's happening is, you know, when all of the stimuli that we're used to, the restaurants and the theaters and all of the stuff that we do to avoid looking at fears and thoughts and anxieties and all those things, when all that stuff gets stripped away, the ego fights it like hell. And then one of two things happens. Either what we truly are begins to emerge and the ego falls back, where the ego just takes over and drives us into insanity. And what doesn't surprise me, Ariel, in this community that you've created, the type of people that are drawn to this, there's a relaxation that's happening of the egoic structure. And as that relaxation's happening, there's a calmness that's emerging. And there's a clarity that will emerge with that calmness. And there's incredible benefit that can come from this. It truly, truly can, from all of the stimuli just being stripped away and being forced to look at, you know, why am I afraid of being in my house? You know, it looks like everybody has a pretty comfortable house from what I can tell. I don't see anybody living in a mud hut here.
Exactly.
Why are we so afraid of that? And that is the most beneficial thing that you can possibly do. We can emerge from this in such a state of calm and peace And then the question will be, can we carry that forward?
Right.
As all the stimuli come back in, can we remember that it really wasn't necessary, it wasn't needed. In fact, when it was all stripped away, we actually found this calm and this peace that was always there. It was just covered up by all the noise.
It's a really good observation.
Yeah, I actually posted something similar to this on a response to some folks posting pictures of different towns and there's no people and it's just the city and things like that. And this podcaster I was listening to yesterday, who is an American who's over in Italy during all of this with his family, he said that he was telling his children that, you know, it is scary, but you can look around and go out there. And he goes, and never, hopefully again in your lifetime will you actually be able to witness this, but you're in one of the most tourist, you know, cities that people want to come to, and it's always crazy with people and noise, and you're able to look out the window and see the most beautiful picture right now with no one out there, and it's so calm and peaceful. And this is something that you'll be able to tell your children someday, but you know, no one may ever experience that empty city again like that, you know, or wherever you go, that it's just like you were saying, it's just so much more calm and stillness. And there is something beautiful about that part of it. And
Karen, I think it's just about changing your perspective. So we could come at it like very fear driven, but if we look at it like, oh my, we're walking in these beautiful parks that, you know, maybe we wouldn't be walking in, or, you know, we're outside so much getting all this fresh air, the weather's beautiful. I think, you know, again, it's not taking for granted, because we could go to any restaurant at any time. We could go to any yoga class at any time. We could go to the movies whenever we want. And now we're in our, you know, in our homes or just outside. And I feel like some people are going to feel like things are getting taken from them. Like but if we flip that, look at what we're being given. We're given that opportunity to, you know, maybe have more time to think about things, or to look inside of ourselves, or to study, or to get creative, to do that yard work, to do these things that we never have time to do.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I hear people saying like, oh, we could have it a lot worse, and, you know, oh, you shouldn't be sad about this. But I think all of our emotions are important. So I think, you know, it's okay to grieve that we're, you know, we've had to cancel a few trips and it made me sad. And I'm thinking like, am I a bad person because I feel sad about, I was so excited about it. Now it's, you know, being delayed. But I think we're allowed to have those periods where we can grieve, we can be sad. I was sad I hadn't seen my kids because we're, you know, quarantined. And but I think we can grieve that and let those feelings move through us. And then, you know, it's like, we know this isn't going to last forever. We know that. So I think having the knowledge that nothing lasts forever, and that we will get through this, and then having the community that we have, that Ariella has helped to, you know, build and construct. I mean, I can't even think of anything that I'm not grateful for right now. I'm so grateful for every experience during this time. And what an incredible time that, I mean, no one has ever experienced this before. Ever.
Yeah. And we're all doing it at the same time together.
That's the other really, you know, notable part, is that it's this collective experience with the entire world.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole world. And we might be experiencing things at different times, but everybody is experiencing it. I know, you know, my daughter Lydia, who's in Hong Kong, they started, you know, quarantining in January. And I'm thinking, who would think it would be over here? I never thought that. I was worried about her over there. And then all of a sudden she's messaging me. She's like, stay in your house. Are you safe? And I'm thinking like, whoa, roles reversed here. But it's touching everyone in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where is she, Wendy?
She's in Hong Kong.
Oh. What's it like over there?
Well, they're releasing some of their restrictions right now, so they're able to go out to eat now. Restaurants are open. They are doing mandatory temperature checks before you enter a restaurant or a store, things like that. But they are allowing people to come into the establishments now. But they've been experiencing, quarantine since January. She's been working remote since the middle of January. So,
yeah.
And Wendy, do they still have the social distancing too, or no?
Yeah. So there, you'll see when you see pictures of downtown Hong Kong, where it's usually very congested and people are like on top of each other. It's, very spread out, the social gatherings. So in Hong Kong on Sundays, all the domestic workers gather on the streets because they don't have homes to live in. So it's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So they aren't allowing any of that to happen anymore. So yeah, it's just like when you see downtown New York or, when you're talking about the big cities in Italy, and it's just empty.
Yeah.
Just empty. And then before we end our call, I just wanted to talk about maybe something that we've learned about ourselves that maybe we didn't know before this actually happened, before we were in the situation. So just something that maybe that we can take away from this experience, something that we've learned about ourselves, or it could be something like maybe we've realized that we don't need all the stimulus, or maybe you learned you have a new talent or something.
I think I've realized we don't need to go out to dinner as much as we used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting how the number one thing I've heard everyone say is the family dinners are bringing that back. Is everyone bringing that back? I mean, our schedules are all over the place, and I grew up with family dinners, and so I kind of always tried to do that, but I noticed that that's like the number one thing I've heard come out of most people's mouth is the family dinner. Mm-hmm.
And I know I don't have any young children, and I'm it's just Ken and I here with the dogs, so it's pretty quiet usually. But I've been loving seeing all of these homeschoolers and like all of the creative projects that these parents are coming up with to teach their kids. I'm like, it's so sweet to watch. And I'm always telling Ken, like, look at this project, look at what they're doing. To me, it's so incredible. People are really, and that's another thing I was talking about, is like kind of getting out of your comfort zone. So people are really getting out of their comfort zones and getting creative and doing all of these things that they probably never thought they would do in a million years.
Yeah. I know I started my little garden last weekend, and then this weekend we're building, my husband's out there building this big wooden container, I don't know, box to build, I'm like, I guess we're going to really build it out now. So it looks good, but that's I've never done this before, so it should be fun.
Okay, since you said that, I have a question. Have you been to Home Depot?
Yes, so we went, was it last week, to Lowe's? I think it was Lowe's, and just the outside part, and it was actually, they have it set up very well, and they have the lines and the whole thing like that, and everyone was being respectful of the space and things like that, but I didn't go in the store. But then I just took home the little herbs, and I had pots and all that stuff already, so I didn't have to worry about like going and doing all that. And then my husband had all sorts of wood that's been sitting in the back of the garage, and he got creative with that. So we repurposed all that. So we didn't have to go do anything too extreme, but yeah, we did run out to get the herbs and the vegetables and stuff like that. But
Nice.
something different to do. And, you know, it's it's
I've been conflicted. Yeah, I've been conflicted about that because, you know, the weather's been so good and I have spent a lot of time in the yard, but there are things that I could get, and I'm not sure, like, for me, if, like, should I do that?
I know that there's certain, is it Pikes? Is it, I think that's what it's called. It's in Alpharetta. It's a, has all the.
You can call in your order and then take it to your, bring it to your car.
Yep. And so they have prepackaged things that they're putting together for people, kind of like the restaurants are doing the orders. They're putting together kits where, you know, they'll put in like all the herbs in a box, and it's already prepackaged pricing and everything, so you can go pick it up there.
Cool. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I think I don't know what time it is. Are we good? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm struggling. There's not anything that I found out that I didn't know. It made me remember certain things that I miss doing and things about my personality that I have to ignore most of the time because of necessity. But I'm definitely an introvert. So for me, this is like, great, perfect. I get to stay home.
I know, I feel like I'm a huge introvert because I don't like being in crowds. And I really love the quiet. But you know what? The one thing I miss is just hugging. Like, I know, like, I hug Ken all the time, but, just hugging my students and my clients. And I just miss that. And I'm like, I will never take for granted a hug.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So,
Have you thought about that? Because I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know if grieving is the right word, but how long will it take before we feel comfortable doing that? You know, will that be something that changes?
That's a good point, Dawn. I wasn't even thinking about, maybe it will never get back to the way it used to be. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to see, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see it never getting back.
It's a new normal for sure. Some things get different, but a lot of things are gonna go back to the same, I think.
I think especially, we crave that connection, and I don't know, I love that feeling, that closeness with my friends and my students and my clients, and just part of who I am.
I can't see you doing Reiki and not hugging your client.
Yeah, or my yoga classes.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
But well, this was an amazing call.
Thank you.
Like, it's a burst. I'm so happy that I got to connect with everybody. And
Yeah, it's really nice. Thank you for doing this.
oh yeah, Ariella set it up and asked if I would facilitate this week. So of course I would love to do that.
Yeah, it's been nice seeing everything you guys are doing with Gray Owl, and look forward to coming over there and checking it out once we're back to be able to do that.
We'd love to have you.
Karen is a yoga instructor at Oya.
Oh, cool.
Well, I've actually just been doing the work trade over there at the front, so I'm helping with them. But yeah, hopefully in the spring I might be able to teach over there and things like that. But, yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much. And then tomorrow night, Ken is actually leading Mindful Monday, and that's at 6:30.
7:15.
Yeah, good thing you're sitting here. 7:15. And it's for the book Untethered Soul. So if you guys want to join us for book club Monday night.
That's a great book.
Yes.
Love that book.
We're taking our time with it.
Yeah. You kind of have to. It's a very deep book. I've read it a few times because it just makes you really think.
Absolutely. Yeah. You should join us because you can probably add to the.
Yeah.
You've read it a few times. You probably have some.
Well, it's
good.
even now I want to probably reread it because everything's, you know, with what's happening now, it brings a whole nother level to it.
Absolutely, but you can join the conversation without having to reread it.
Reread it. Great. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great Sunday.
You too.
Thank you.
Talk or want to connect. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I can.